Okay, we're very quickly going to have a look at how you can make a lid as well. I'm going to do this a slightly different way. The technique we're going to use is called loft, which is this one here. Now the loft technique could have been used to create the bottle. If you recall the earlier one I showed you, which had sloping edges on it, that was used. I used loft to create that instead of extrude. So it's a similar type technique, but the word loft allows you to do it on an angle, and I'll show you what that means now. So I'm going to go for a new sketch. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to click File, and I'm going to click on New, and again I'm going to choose a part, and I'm going to go for a standard millimeter part again and hit Create. Okay, here I am back to my beginning again. This is known as part 3 because I haven't saved it with a different name. Same with part 1. I could have gone up here and I could have gone File, Save As, and I could have given it a very specific name. For the moment I'll leave them as part 1 and part 3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch again, and I'm going to do it on this surface here. Okay, so I'm on my top view. I'm actually going to rotate that round so top's facing the right way. And I'm going to draw again a rectangle with a fixed point in the center. And the same thing, I'm going to choose this time, I'm going to do 40 millimeters and hit Tab, and 40 millimeters and hit Enter. So this is created for me that size square, and I'm going to hit Finish my sketch. So that's what it looks like at the moment. It's just floating in midair. There's nothing to it. What I want to be able to do now is I'm going to use something called a surface plane, which is this command over here, in order to be able to project upwards and draw another shape which is a bit smaller. Now the reason or the way to do that is to choose this origin, find the correct plane. So the one I'm interested in is this one, the XZ plane. I'm going to click on the XZ plane, and I'm going to create a new plane over here. And what that allows me to do is to grab the corner and drag upwards. Now you can see the dimensions up here changing as I do it. So the dimension I want to put in here is basically going to be the height of my lid. So if I want a lid that's 25 millimeters tall, okay, I'm going to type in 25 millimeters up here, and that at the moment puts that new plane exactly 25 millimeters away from the first one. Let's drag that down so we can see it, and even zoom a bit smaller. So it's floating in midair. There's nothing on it. What I want to do is I want to add a drawing to it. So if I click on it on the edge, and then I can go to this one that says create a sketch. I'm going to hit sketch, and now I've got something to draw on. So on this one I'm going to draw another rectangle, still with a 2 point in the center one. I'm going to click on here, come out. This time I'm going to make it maybe 20, hit Tab, and 20 and hit return. So I've got another one there which is 20 millimeters. So if I go back, click finish sketch, and I go back into my isometric view, I can see now that I've got these two things floating the distance apart that I set. I don't want to see this grey bit, so all I need to do is to come to where it says work plane, which is the thing that I put on there, and right click and choose no visibility. So there's my two objects. There's nothing in between them. If I went to my right view, I can see exactly what they look like. Okay, one's floating up here and is 20, one's floating up here and is 40. So what I want to do is go back to my isometric view. Whoops, that's not the view that I wanted. Let's switch it around. I'm actually, like I did before, I'm going to set my my home as that view. So set current view as home, fit to view. That means that every time I hit isometric now, it will return to that view for me. I'm going to loft it by choosing the loft command, and basically this little box is saying what do I actually want to use. So I'm going to click the bottom one, then I'm going to click the top one, and there it's created my loft for me. It's saying, is that what I want? I don't want to change anything else. I don't need to make it internal or anything. I'm just going to click OK, and that's my shape. Okay, and I'm going to actually readjust again my isometric because it looks better this way, and do the same thing again. I'm going to set that as my current view for the home view. Okay, so I've got my object there to work on, and I can do lots of things with it. The first thing I'm going to do though is I'm actually going to make the screw thread on it so it'll fit on top of the bottle. So the screw thread needs to go on the bottom, so I'm going to go to the bottom view. So there's my top view. I'm going to spin it round. There's my bottom view. What I want to be able to do is I want to be able to put a screw thread right in the middle. Now the easiest way of doing that is to create a construction line so it knows where that center point's going to be. It might not even be that it wanted to be in the center. Yours might be a different shape altogether, but this is the way you would do something like that. I'm going to choose create a sketch. I'm going to click on that surface so it knows that my sketch is going to go on that surface. I want to be able to put a line that goes from corner to corner and corner to corner, so that right in the middle I have a marked point. So I'm going to choose this time line, and over here I've got the option of choosing what's called a construction line. So I'm going to choose construction line. The difference between a construction line, you'll see in a moment. See when I lock on there it goes green, it knows that's the corner. I'm going to click once there, go to my other corner, I'm going to click here. My construction line is shown as a dotted line rather than a solid line. That means whenever I print these things out it won't show. They're used simply for constructing shapes. So I can do the same thing, go from this corner to this corner, and that's all I need to do, and I'm going to hit finish sketch. Now, so on my drawing I've got this construction line shown. Okay, I'm now going to add my hole to it. I'm going to choose my hole command. My hole, first of all, I'm going to do a different kind of hole. It's not just going to be a hole that goes through it. So you can see this is like a picture of a drill and how drill holes look. I do want one which goes down straight like this one, but I want it to have a screw thread on, so I'm going to choose this one that says tapped hole. I'm going to click on here. Once again I get a set of readings, different choices. If you remember when we did the actual bottle, I chose one which was called ANSI metric M profile. Now it doesn't really matter as long as you use the same ones, and I used a size 12. So basically, so long as I use the same type of screw thread on the basically the nut and the bolt version, they will fit together later. So size 12 is correct, and now I want to do is telling me where do I want to put it and how deep do I want it to go. So basically I'm going to choose this placement from sketch, and I'm going to choose this as the point to put it. So let's put that first thing in there for me, and it's asking me how deep I want it to go. So at the moment it's still defaulting to 3mm deep, which is no good for me. I want it to go deeper than that, so I'm going to set the distance to 8mm, which I think was the same as the distance that we used in the original the bottle. And again, if I swivel that round now by holding down shift, I can see that it's put that screw thread in there for me now. If I wanted to edit that at any point, I can come over here and double click on the hole, and it'll bring the settings back up again. I can see here that although my total distance is 8mm, my screw thread itself is only showing on 6mm of it. So I'm actually going to change that to 8mm as well, so the screw thread goes right the way through. And instead of having a tapered angle on it, I'm going to choose this drill point angle and say OK. So now if I look at it and check it out, I've got a slightly different screw thread. The screw thread goes for a distance of 8mm, and it goes right to the top of that flat part of the drill. So that should later on fit without any problems onto the bottle that we created. Okay, so in the same way that I embossed and put a title on top of on the front of my bottle, if I wanted to emboss and put some text on this top surface here, I could. I'm just going to very quickly put some fillets or chamfers on to see what it looks like. Maybe I'll use a combination of both. So I'll put some chamfers on these top edges, and we'll leave it on 2mm and see what that looks like. And I'm going to even do them on these side edges. So I'm getting a kind of a flattened off edge there. I'm going to say OK to that, and then I'm going to choose fillet, and I'm going to use fillet along these bottom edges here and on the corners as well. I've got no idea what this will look like. It might look horrible, but we'll give it a go and we'll see how it comes out. Move that out my way if it's obscuring my vision. I need to actually put them on the corner points as well. I can move this around to see, make sure I've got everywhere. If I haven't got anywhere, all the positions, I can click on them again. You can see the red bits highlighting as I click onto them. Now I could do these one at a time, but it obviously makes more sense to do them all in one go, and I'm going to tick it. So now if I revolve around again, I can see the kind of shape and things that I've done to that, and I'm just going to do the same as I did last time. I'm going to click up here on the part, and I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to change the physical material it's made from. So this time, instead of a generic one, I'm going to pick polypropylene or something, which is a type of plastic, and say OK. So I've turned it into a plastic feature, and I'm going to change the color maybe to make it look like it's made of gold or something. There's gold. See what that looks like. So there's my lid for now, and I'm just going to hit save on this one again. So I've got two different parts. This one's going to be, I'm going to call it lid 5 and save it, and this one, which was part 1, I'm going to save this one, and I'm going to call this one bottle 5, just so I don't get confused. And in the next video I'm going to show you how to assemble those two bits together.